Yeah, he makes it pretty rough on an older crew chief, but hey, Kevin's doing a good job. The guys here, the whole Timberwolf team's done really good in the pits today. A little bit tight, done some adjusting here and there, trying to chase it. It's going to be like a trophy dash here in a minute, I believe.
Okay, thanks a lot. Best of luck to you guys for the rest of the day. And the cars are rolling again. We're going to go racing, guys.
Now, we're probably going to get a couple of laps to get everybody ready to roll here. Then we'll be throwing the green flags. We're going to break away quickly, then head to the finish of the MBNA Platinum 200.
Boy, I used to hate this worse than anything. When you sit like that.
Yep. Really?
Yep. Well, it's 2 or 3. Well, it's just you have a rhythm that you're already in. And like Earnhardt Jr., I mean, everything was going his way. And now everything is, you stopped. The valves were left open. Cold air was rushing in. Even though it's a warm day, cold air is running into the motor. You just hope it don't crinkle a valve or create a problem. There's a lot of things that can happen.
Probably and one of the other things, buddy, is the tires. We do what we call cycles on the tires.
Right.
All right,
those tires have gotten hot.
Let Darrell and Buddy talk about this red flag a little bit.
Yeah.
They're saying some very interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's only part of what we know, but can't tell them everything.
I do want to let Darrell and Buddy expound on the red flag a bit.
Expound.
It'll be 2 when they get here.
Okay. Well, I'll cut mine down some. Oh, look at Matt. He's in a super modified now.
So Ken
Oh.
Schiff is back.
Yeah, I got a good idea. NASCAR will say, bring that back in.
51, 18. Welcome back, everybody, live at Dover Downs, a couple of laps away from going back to work after a 16-minute red flag period for the damage to the wall. What do you guys, you as racers, what do you guys think about when you're sitting out there, buddy, and you got a 16-minute intermission? I mean, what goes through your mind?
Well, the first thing you hope you don't do is you're already in a rhythm. You have the racetrack dialed in. Everything's working for you. And Darrell has some interesting things to talk about tires and different things. But the first thing with me, I shut a motor off. It's running extremely hot. All of a sudden, cool air starts going through the exhaust pipe.
Even on a hot day like this.
Yeah, and up into the valve system. And you hope it don't crinkle a valve. There's a lot of things that can happen under a red flag.
Yeah, and then the other thing is the tires. I mean, we what we call cycle the tires. When you put them on brand new, that's when they're their best. You go out, you get them real hot, 230 degrees, 240 degrees. Then you come in and they set in the garage. The tires cool back down, and they'll actually get harder. They'll actually cure out a little bit more, that rubber will, and then the car doesn't act the same the next time you go out on them. So that's a number of things. I think the other thing is you've got time to talk to your pit crew too, and you can decide if you want to make some changes, or even if you want to pit or not, or discuss some things you might do differently in this last 30 laps.
We're about a lap and a half away from going green. Work on the Stanton Barrett Channel Lock Chevrolet. There's the starting grid for tomorrow's MBNA Platinum 400. Bobby Labonte, 3rd race in a row. He's won the pole if you count the Winston, then the 600 last week, and now here. Elliott Sadler with a great qualifying effort. Old Jerry Nadeau did well. The top 32, folks, as you watch this, the top 32 drivers all broke the old track record. I can't remember that happening like that anywhere.
Well, we've been fast everywhere we've been this year. I mean, with the downforce we have in the cars right now, we've set track records almost everywhere we've been. Bristol comes to mind. Martinsville comes to mind. A lot of places we've been extremely fast.
Well, and they've ground on the racetrack, and it's so much smoother now. As you were saying, the stuff that worked last race here didn't even work now because the car didn't have the same bumps to run over.
Yeah, and not only that, they did run a tire test here. Kyle Petty tested tires here a 3 weeks ago, and they always say we didn't do anything to the tires, but there has to be a little something different about the tires. It isn't just grinding on the racetrack to pick up that much speed.
Ralph, how about tires in this race now as we near the finish?
Well, tires in this race, Eli, seem to be okay. Most of the teams are going to go the distance here, or at least going to try to. But Goodyear has posted a note to all the Winston Cup teams. Of course, happy hour comes up after the Busch race today. Goodyear has asked and NASCAR has approved an extra half hour added to the happy hour session today. They are encouraging the teams to go out and stuff tires for tomorrow. With the increased speeds, of course, tire temperatures will go up. And one of the ways that you can lower tire temperatures about 10 to 15 degrees is to stuff the tires in. So Goodyear has encouraged teams to go out and stuff some tires in for tomorrow's race.
So if you run a few miles on them and let them cool down, it really...
Well, he hit on it just a while ago. That's a cycle. You run it through a cycle, it makes the compound a little bit harder, a little less easy to cook. So
Cars are more forgiving if you run them a lap or two and knock that dew off of them and let them cure out a little bit more.
Meanwhile, we're set to see if everybody can continue doing what they've been doing as we're getting set to go green here in the final laps of the MBNA Platinum 200. The 3 is Dale Earnhardt Jr. He is the race leader.
Man, slow start.
He's keeping them way down.
Where they get those good restarts. He's taking off and low. Everybody else in second.
Oh, boy.
There you
go. Well, I'd say Ward Burton had a lot to do with that slow start where he could accelerate up. We do know that Ward Burton has a problem with getting up to speed.
Yeah, well, Dale knows that too, and I'm sure the crew said, you know, he's sluggish on the restart, bring him down as slow as you can. Nothing wrong with that. It's good strategy. Take advantage of the competition. The weakness of the competition.
Trouble turn 2 as Dale Earnhardt takes the caution again. One car has tagged the wall in turn number 2, and there you have further problems here on the main straightaway. Randy LaJoie. So Randy LaJoie directly here in front of the main straightaway grandstand.
And Matt Kenseth
again, who had just come back 18 laps down. That is Kenseth on board. He was driving what looked to be a modified, you know, that look when they peel off sheet metal and so on. Well, Kenseth had just come out 18 laps down, spun out of turn number 2 and ends up there against the wall. Then unrelated, Randy LaJoie here on the main straightaway, and again we're under caution for the 8th time.
Well, I'm a firm believer, Eli, and I know no disrespect to Kenseth, he's a good kid, but I don't think NASCAR will let a car go back on the racetrack unless they got all their body parts. A car running around out here with the front end knocked off of it, no, it just doesn't look good.
You see LaJoie already sideways.
Whoa.
Don't know if there was any help there from Krogh or not. Jeff Krogh was right behind him or alongside, but in any event, that was the second of the incidents that happened at different ends of the racetrack.
Yeah, you can see the roof flap already employed there to keep the car down, so he was backwards quite a ways there. Randy LaJoie started off so well in Daytona winning this year with this team, and since then they have had just a terrible year. They've had so many things happen to that car that you normally don't expect with Randy LaJoie.
But I talked to Randy, and he said one thing about this crowd versus maybe some other places he's been, they don't blame him.
So Randy LaJoie going to the garage area. Actually to pit road is where he'll stop if he has any brakes to get wound down. Let's go on board now with Matt Kenseth. Or will this be with LaJoie? This will be with Randy LaJoie.
Now, he clearly had a right front tire flat.
Feel right the first time. Matt Kenseth, as he came off in turn number 2.
That's what you call being sure you killed that car.
You could see him turn the steering wheel all the way to the left, and it was going straight to the wall. Right front was flat way before he got to the wall.
One of the biggest fears you have when you go back out in a car, it's been in a wreck, is, you know, did they get everything tight? Did they get all the tires where they don't rub? Man, it's a tough place to be. And when you're trying to protect a point lead, tough place to be. But well, you know what? You learn from things like that.
Yep. Dale Earnhardt Jr. continues to lead with 25 laps to go, trying to close in on his first win of the 1999 season.
I'll tell you what, that was a lick and a half.
I had no idea which video he was seeing.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, I mean, he was gassing.
Once you turn over 2 inches, you're done anyhow. All right. A monster. Ooh, that's the flat tire.
Bam, bam, bam.
Tony Roper. Whoa.
Bam.
Steve Grissom.
crank that thing up and drive it down on the apron.
I know.
I
Look
think
at the
he
right
thought
rear.
he was going to go to, he was going to drive it in the garage.
Look at the right rear, so
Yeah.
it was full of,
Whoa.
yo, Casey. And that barrier.
Whoa.
Chain Hall. This will be Jeff.
Oh, bam.
Bessie and
Bill Bessie.
Yeah.
Bill Park.
That was the.
Man, that's hard.
That was
Gosh,
just.
that was hard.
You know, everybody says that starting in the back is not a bad deal if you have a great car. Well, I thought so many times you start back, you get caught up in that.
Yeah. That's like saying Russian roulette ain't a bad deal. You only got one bullet.
Yeah. But you're next.
Yeah. Or
No.
have I fired 6 or have I fired 5?
Green flag in the air. The restart here at Dover Downs. Lap 177 complete. We're now on lap 178. There you see the scramble for second spot on back. Already a half second behind the leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah, the last thing Ward Burton needs is these restarts. I mean, it's just killing him to get going. Once he gets going, he's okay, though.
Hey, Todd Bodine on the outside there coming around trying. He's in second place right now. Or working on, yeah, he's working on moving into second.
Yeah, he's got to get up there and get after Ward. Ward is okay once he gets off these restarts, but he's slow to get rolling.
Randy LaJoie has continued on the racetrack. After that hit on the wall earlier, that brought him to a stop on the main straightaway. There he is at red and white number 1 on the low side of the racetrack. Earnhardt Jr., Ward Burton, Todd Bodine, Dick Trickle, David Green. That man, Mike McLaughlin, back in 29th spot, 7 laps down. Not a vintage day again for that Gould pump team.
Boy, oh boy, Ward Burton's car, when he comes by here, sounds like a pea thresher, but I tell you what, he's picking them up, putting them down. If anything, he may be closing ground on Earnhardt Jr. just a little bit.
But he is closing up on him, and I tell you what, the distance, the lead that Dale Jr. has, he gets on the restart. Once they get green and get going, Ward seems to me like as fast as maybe a tick faster.
Probably a silly question, but is there ever a circumstance where you don't want to have all the power available to you so you don't overpower a racetrack?
I think maybe some of the smaller racetracks, that would be possible, but here in a good hand, oh, we got trouble on the back.
Trouble back straightaway, turn 3. There you see Ted Christopher, the Busch North and Featherlight Modified Tour driver.
And if I'm not mistaken, he and Dave Blaney got together going down into turn 3. I know it was a black car.
Somebody was trying to get by somebody. I couldn't tell who it was.
So Ted Christopher, first time here, has stayed out of trouble. He was running 25th, but now caution is on the speedway again at lap 183, 9th time. See the window net come down. That signals to the safety crew that I'm okay. The driver doesn't drop that net. They know to hustle on out there.
The best thing that could happen to Ward is if he got a single file restart. Well, they do that in the 10 laps, right?
Right, 10 laps. We're out with 18 to
While
go.
we're looking at this car, that net right there on the left side of the driver, right on that keeps your head from getting back into this bar here. That net right there is probably one of the best things you can have in a race car, I think, to save you when you hit the wall on the driver's side.
Yeah, I can remember the first time I used one that kept me from getting hurt. The guy was trying to hit me with a jack handle.
Let's see what happens here. The 13 is
for that.
Christopher. You got Johnny Benson, who was outside, and Elton Sawyer, the 98, behind him. Well, it was Johnny Benson.
Johnny Benson.
Oh, boy.
Now, whether Ted came in on him or Benson came up.
No. I just looked up and saw the 93 going by, but that's why we have replays.
Yeah.
So our 9th caution, you see right there, we're one away from tying a record that you hate to ever tie or break.
Yeah, and again, Ward Burton's got to be just going crazy because he's losing all that ground on those restarts. And Dale Jr. is dragging them around here on the restart, so he's got it all figured out.
Cleanup continues. 17